You guys, first of all, I have the most amazing episode for you tonight with one of my favorite people who is a total rock star. And I'm going to bring her on. She's going to track me down. I'm going to bring her down in a little bit. I have been overwhelmed with registrations for my free workshop in January. Overwhelmed. So listen, and I'm going to be babbling on about this for days and days because it starts January 11th. It's free. It's 5 days. And it's called Write Your New Story 2021. And I am going to not only do it with you, I'm going to lead it, I'm going to guide it, and I'm going to be ever present and right in the thick of it. So that's going to be really fun. Tonight, for What's Your Beautiful No, I'm bringing on, she is an Instagram superstar, but she literally is, she's an angel on earth. I bring you a lot of those. She's an angel on earth, literally. She uses her platform to make the world a better place in a way like nobody else. There she is, my friend.
I was like, it's hilarious because I'm in my room and I was like, oh, Sherry's gonna give me shit for my framing. And
No, I'm not gonna. You know what? I have let all that go. Listen,
I've noticed because I haven't gotten any feedback, and I was like, all right.
I was a bit of an asshole about that, I must say. And so, because I've taken your direction, don't be an asshole. I'm just not gonna
Wait.
be.
To be fair, you were Oprah fucking Winfrey's producer, so
Yes.
yeah, but like I get it though. You know, that's the lens you were looking through. It's perfection.
I want people to shine. I want people to shine. But I did take a look at myself and see I have COVID Rapunzel hair. Like I need to whack about. If I thought I could do it, I would.
think it looks phenomenal. I heard you say that, and
Thank
your hair
you.
looks so good.
Thank you. Well, so much has been going on, my friend. You and I watch you from my perch and I see all the amazing things that you're doing in the world. And I just, from the moment we met, I liked you so much. Let's tell everybody how we met.
Well, we met because our books came out. Now, this is the paperback cover of my book, but
yes,
our books came out on June 4th.
Our hardcovers came out last June. Yeah.
June. And the same day also Elizabeth Gilbert's book came out. And so Sherry and I started following each other and we're like, let's be besties because, oh my God, our books are coming out. And we exchanged books. And
we did.
But then so generously, as is her MO, Liz Gilbert posted both of our books.
Yes.
Remember? Right?
Yeah.
Like the day they came out or the day before.
She lifted us from her place of power and influence.
Yeah.
She lifted us up.
Like,
that's great.
Really, really spectacular. And it did so much for me. I don't know about you, but I mean, I like thousands
Huge.
I mean,
well, okay, let me say this. Dr. Alexander Solomon's here. Listen, here's what she did. She gave me a blurb. And because she sold a gajillion books, of course, that was all over.
My front says, harrowing vulnerability and badass candor. A gritty, passionate memoir.
So generous. So she literally said that my memoir was a roadmap for transformation.
It is.
And so, listen.
I wrote the foreword for the upcoming one. I know.
Well, yes, because we'll be meeting again to talk about my paperback release in February.
So then we were like, we got to meet in person.
Yes.
To make our best friend relationship official. And so Sherry was like, I'm taking you to dinner. And I was like, okay, you probably have more money than me anyway. But okay. So we went to like this fancy, really beautiful restaurant on the beach. And we had such
Santa Monica.
a good time.
What is that hotel called? Shutters.
And we saw Jeff Goldblum, remember? And I went up and I was like, I
do remember.
And then his wife and I became friends. We follow each other. A whole other story. But we had such a beautiful time. And we said, we're going to do great things together.
We sure did. And then Mark Groves comes and knocking on my door and asks me if I will kind of consult, executive produce on his, he's co-founding a new app called Mind. And I'm like, oh, I bet that Jen Pastiloff would be good on this. And now you're a founding expert. along with Raphael and
There's
Dr. Alexander Solomon.
I don't know how much time you have because there's so much to talk about. And time is so bizarre because I was thinking about, when did you first approach me about that? Was that in 1987 or was that last week? Or
I know.
Right?
It was after our dinner in Santa Monica. So it was early last year. So
yes, I know, but like was it like
your
April?
Your book is on being human. And I love it so much. I love that book so much. There it is right there.
Makes a great holiday gift.
It does.
Especially for an asshole that needs to become a human. Like,
let's have people get bundles. The Beautiful No and On Being Human. Just bundle those up.
But when you buy it on Amazon, which I have done, like to ship it to someone quickly, it'll be like frequently bought with your book and like, Untamed or your book, and it's like I'll screenshot it. I know.
That always nice. I see that and I go, it's going out into the world. It's going out into the world.
What I want to say was that, so when you came at me about Mind, I was in such a bad place, and of course I probably didn't present as that way. I know I didn't because I'm good at like what I do, but I was really, really depressed. And it was the beginning of the pandemic and everything had evaporated for me.
Yes, because you had a thriving events career and you were launching your speaking career, signed by Miriam. And then Miriam signed me. So I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the speaking year of my dreams.
Liz Gilbert's agent is Lois Gilbert's speaking agent. And and I had 3 European retreats. I had workshops all over. I mean, 2020 was the year I was finally making money, like finally. And I just did a session on Mind about aging and it all went like it was a joke. It just went, and you approached me, and I remember, I had gone down on my antidepressants like a cuckoo, but I was really dark and like felt so. One of the things for me with working is that it keeps me in alignment, and therefore my confidence stays. Right. So it wasn't working and I was not feeling confident, and I said yes anyway. And I'm so glad I did. And I think about that now where I'm like, oh my God, I'm back. Thank God I said yes, because as you were asking me in my head, I was like, hell no, I'm the worst. I'm so, all the inner asshole stuff because I was so depressed. Yeah. And so I'm just really grateful that I didn't let my inner asshole make my decisions when you. Oh, God,
me too. Me too. But I totally understand that. Listen, and, I've done a lot of things too and had a lot of moments, but it's like we've been living this 2D life. Like, you don't want to see the back of my hair or the back of my clothes. Like, all I have to do is make sure the front D is reasonably presentable, which I really don't even care.
I'm naked below the waist, everyone.
I almost came on with my Velcro rollers so I can show everybody how I take them out, because people always ask me about that. I thought you would think that was funny, but I couldn't hold on that long. But what I'm saying is we're living this, there's a fragility to, we haven't been with other humans. We haven't been engaging. Like, how about this? When you go to like I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I've worn a bra for 9 months. So when I put one on, I'm completely uncomfortable.
But literally, I have huge boobs. How? That's my question. When you have big old boobs.
Like in the day? Yeah, I've got,
how? It's not, I'm like,
I find it very relaxing. I find it very relaxing. And how about this? The time you go, now I did a few things to myself, but the truth is, I sat down to do makeup, and it was like I was coloring in 2nd grade. I used to be able to do that so easy, and it was like, and I had all this because, things have changed, and it does kind of, my ease of being in the world has been destabilized. Let's put it this way. It's destabilized. Now, the gift is destabilize that shit, Sherry. Take it all down. Who cares?
Yeah.
And now just, be your 3D soul in this 2D world,
I love that. Gosh, it really, really, I love that idea of like the my friend, we just interviewed her for the podcast where, by the way, I can't wait to have you on, but Dr. Michelle Harper wrote, I found her through Liz Gilbert, The Beauty and the Breaking. But it's like that title, but that's like what 2020 is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the beauty and the breaking, the beauty and the destabilizing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why, I go back and I did a little solstice thing, a little ceremony. I'm ceremony and ritualizing my life because I need those anchors. I need to remind myself what I believe. And that's in many,
I gotta write that down. I need to remind myself what I believe. I love that.
I need to remind myself what I believe.
That's why I pray every morning, though, with a prayer that I make up, because everything is a daily practice, or as you would call it, maybe, but an esteemable practice. Yes, which I quote you all the time on that.
Your esteemable practices are what build that sense of esteem, for sure. But it's like reminding yourself what you believe. That's why I'm like, okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my friends and my family and people that I know who are making a difference in the world, and I'm going to have you come on and we are going to answer the question, what's your beautiful no? And here's why. Yes, it is the title story of my memoir because it's one of the most impactful, crazy, miraculous stories of my life. When I was the biggest rejection, the thing I thought I wanted most, the thing I felt I needed most, I'm like, my God, I needed money. I needed money. I could not pay my bills. I was freelancing, terrible at it, which is like, hello, will you hire me and give me money? No? Okay. Like I was terrible at it. And so I needed it so badly, and I needed it for my own sake. Like, I'm like, my God, I think I was 34, 35 years old. And I'm like, oh God, this is just, the fits and starts of my life. And on the other side of that beautiful, gorgeous no was the opportunity that would change everything for me. So I think it's really important in these times, Jen, for us to take a second and see that those rejections and those failures and those disappointments, that there's gold in them, their hills.
Yeah.
There's gold in them, their hills. It's like,
it's gold in them, their hills.
and the big trick, the mastery. So I'm working for mastery on this. I'm easing myself into mastery, which is, right now, I really don't give myself more than 36 hours to bemoan a disappointment or something I thought was going to happen and it doesn't happen. And it's like,
oh my God, we haven't talked about this, and we are so on the same wavelength.
Yes.
That's not exactly my thing, but it's like, I did a post on it as much. I'm like, I give myself, it's like, I call it 15 minutes, but 15 minutes can be 36 hours. The idea is, it's like, all right, boom. And then, but you got to let yourself feel it.
You got to feel it. You got to feel it. You got to be true. Otherwise you're just sweeping it away and it's going to back up on you later. But it's like, I just don't want to waste any more time, because here's what I know. I'm eventually going to see, if I would have gotten a yes there, this wouldn't have happened. And this is so much better than what I was thinking. So, literally, I think now is the perfect time for us to remind ourselves. And so I'm using you tonight on this little social series I've concocted to be one of the great teachers. Jennifer Pastiloff, humanitarian, author, best-selling author, fabulous teacher, speaker, entrepreneur. I must say to you, what is your beautiful now?
Ever since you asked me, I have so many, and this is very classic Jen Pastiloff too. I had my astrology chart done for the first time last week, and she's like, you're terrible at decisions. I was like, yes, I can't even decide what I want to eat for dinner. And so when you asked me this, of course, I was like, well, I have that one and that one. And so the one that came to my mind was, I'm going to share the story, but I'm going to tell the real one, I think, was I had already built up what I'm doing. I'd built up an audience, and I was doing these workshops around the world called On Being Human. But I started to do workshops for young people, for young women, which really is a passion of mine. I love working with teens and younger people. And for years, I've been like, I'm writing a book, which was just this, because I wasn't really, and a friend of mine who is a big editor in New York of children's books, she said, you should do a book. You should do a book of girl power. It was, at the time I called it Girl Power, You Are Enough. Ooh. And I changed it to G Power for gender nonconforming, guy, girl, whatever. Anyway, point being, I was like, yeah, I should, because everyone all of a sudden, when I mentioned the idea, was like, that's so sellable. You're going to get rich. That is so needed. La, la, la,
oh my God.
You know? Right,
you know what? Right. It's the media BS, like, pass the buck. Oh, I don't want to be the one to tell you no.
Everybody was like, it's a no-brainer. I had all
not
these
right famous, for me, but it's fabulous.
I had all these famous writers, hi, Amy Chan. I had all these famous writers, like, going to do a letter to their younger selves. It was, my agent worked so hard on it. And I was, people, oh my God, whatever. The way I was psyched up for it. And no one would buy it. And it was like a piece of humble pie. And I got really, this was the story I was going to tell. I got depressed, and I was like, but had it gone through, that would have been my first book. And not this. And I'm so grateful that because that wasn't the book that I wanted to write. I was doing that because people were like, that's money.
You can sell it. You can sell it. Yeah.
So that's the story I wanted to tell. And it's a great one. But then I was like, I was taking a nap under my new weighted blanket today. And I thought, what's really, there's some obvious ones, like when I was about to say his real name in the book, he's Adam, when Adam broke up with me. There's some things, but the one I thought of that really came to me that feels really, really like a beautiful no is actually about this year. So, like I said, I was finally making money. I mean, as I'm very shame-free about, I live in a 1-bedroom, and I bust my ass, and I'm a breadwinner, and I'm like, I'm finally making money, and everything went. And I really fell into a depression. And one of the ways that I didn't die was that I became of service. I started raising money for other people. Yeah. But this summer, but mainly this fall, I started private coaching again. And I turned my retreats virtually, which people have asked me to do for years. And I was always a hard no. The magic cannot be translated. No way. No how. No. And also, beside that, I don't know how, which is a big bullshit story that I perpetuate, like with everything, a book proposal, even like people have been like, you should write a movie, or I don't know how. And so I don't. So that was like a big no. And out of necessity, because I was like, what the fuck am I going to do? How am I going to feed Charlie and move out of this goddamn apartment that I love? And so I did it with the help of some beautiful friends, Marissa Lee, Chris Avila Hubschman, who, with nothing to gain except me lifting up out of my depression, were like, girl, let's do this. We'll help you. And I put my stuff online, and the retreat, Sherry, was so magical. The only difference of not being in Italy is that we weren't in Italy, but it was the same thing. And I would have never, ever, 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 ever done it had this not happened. So I'm not grateful for COVID by any stretch, but the beautiful no in having my entire income dissipated had me create, had me think bigger, had me use my imagination, had me be scared and do it anyway, had me ask for help, had me do all these things. And now I cannot take on any more private clients. I am, you know, the private clients I couldn't do before because I was on an airplane all the time. I am booked every single day. I have these, I have all this stuff going on that I would have never, ever done. And so I was laying there and I thought, oh, that really was a beautiful no. That had to happen. And that's very much my personality. I am very honest about the fact that I don't deal with change well. And it's not like I'm proud of it. It's just something I work through. Like, I don't leave a job till I get fired. I have been in this apartment 18 years, So, like, it took me being like, oh,
I call that misery as my compass.
Right? So,
yeah.
But it took that
That's right.
for me to do this. And here I am. And I will go back to doing a retreat in Italy. Don't get me wrong. But now I have people all over the world. We can meet on Zoom. Right. And it's beautiful.
That's right. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. That is I call it 2020, the year that never was. It took, the universe had to shut down a year. Shut it down. Close it down for you to be willing to try a different way. A different way that would bring all these gifts.
And I began, ready for it, everyone, and this is probably something you'd call an esteemable practice, but I began to dream things into being. So my best friend and I, she's on here, Ace, Alicia.
I saw her. Hi, Alicia.
We were like, we were potting together. We've been potting together for quite many months, and we would do these videos, and we know the chemistry we have, right? We feel it, like you and Nancy. But then we saw the way people responded, and we were like, we should do a podcast. And we were like, we don't know what the fuck we're doing. We don't have any money, but we're doing it anyway. And it's thriving. You're coming on. Aaron Brockovich was on the 28th. Liz Gilbert's been on. It's thriving. So and good. It was purely, it would have not happened before had that had that shutdown not happened.
Well, okay, so here is the biggest change for me in this year was, in my memoir, I tippy-tapped the keys to write about how I now understood that old system of work was just a fake thing that I kind of superimposed over my life.
Okay.
And that with the ability to set my own time and to really dive into that understanding of all my time is free. But here's what happened with 2020. I was forced to look at myself because all of a sudden everything's canceled, right? So why am I still showing up for work at my dining room table, tippy tapping the keys because it's 9:30 and I'm already late? I still I still had to pull all that down, and finally, in the midst of it all, I realized that you're just going to have to do what the universe is asking you to do. You're going to have to be still.
Wow.
You're not going to be able to fill it up with a bunch of hub and bub, and distract yourself from just being.
So what was that like, getting still?
Oh, well, it's a thing. It's a thing to watch how I squirm through it. How I think that everything on this table, this pencil cup, is more important than my own stillness. So it's an estimable practice that I am diving into deeper and deeper, to say anytime the silly in me tries to take myself out of those holy moments where I say thank you so much and I come right back, because I want mastery. I want to know, here are my great words for 2021. Of course, it's transformation. I'm going to do a whole coaching program and workshop on it. But because I love the air of transformation. I love the climate of it, the vibration of it. But I love some people have been using some words around me, so I'm going to snatch them up for my own. One is sovereignty, being sovereign. Mm-hmm. And I think it's probably from watching the last season of The Crown that I just recently been. But sovereignty is, you are the queen of your experience. Mm. You're in charge. It's in
I
your
love
hands.
that.
And the other one, which means something very similar, is agency. Really embracing that quality of agency, where it isn't like it's like this, because like you, I often wait until my back is against a wall, and then I heave ho my way to goodness and victory. You know what I mean? And I think I want it a little easier. A little easier. I don't want to wait till my back's against the wall.
That's
I
my
just
word.
want
Ease is my word.
ease. And I just really want to I want to have agency over my experience. I want to have sovereignty over my life, where I am, you know, it's not a doing situation, it's a being situation, where I'm not at the effect of external forces.
Right.
So
I
yeah, I
love
love
that.
your beautiful no, because I've watched it. I knew you were down. I knew you were blue. I didn't. You're right. You're very good. I mean, I certainly didn't realize
Well,
how depressed
no.
you were.
And also the truth is, I went back up on my medication, and for anyone watching who struggles with depression, is that often you don't know how bad you are until you're not in it anymore.
Right.
And that's so dangerous. I knew I was not I knew, but I didn't know how bad I was until I was like, oh, holy shit. But I said yes anyway, and and part of that was practice, was habit, was like knowing that that's my inner asshole, and
Yeah.
It was like a survival, like the higher me took over, goes, yes, I have no idea how the fuck I'm going to do this, or what I'm going to say, or what I have to offer. And now I think back, gosh, wow, I was really, really low. And it's okay. And it's okay because I'm human.
I'm also going to say that's another way that, it's another one of your earthly services, is that you make things okay. You make them easier to talk about. You make them okay.
That's like the greatest compliment you could give me.
I know
my goal is to be the physical embodiment of, I got you, it's going to be okay, and thank you. So
I know it matters to you, and you fully inhabit that. And so nobody can take that away from you. You just make it really easy, so much easier for people to be real about what they're going through. And
I was just really afraid. I was really afraid. I was really afraid. And I was not in a place of possibility. I could not visualize what things are now. I couldn't visualize that.
I know, but here's what I watched you do. Because I watched it on my screen. I watched it. I watched you, like you said, I'm going to dive in and I'm going to help people. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. Everybody does some not-for-profit work on their channels. That's nice. That's part of your container.
Right.
It's another word people are using that I like. But oh no, you didn't just do that. Like, click on this link. Here's some charities I like. You went full boat, give the money to this piggy bank. We're going to deliver it to this person who needs some vegetables and some milk for her babies. It was the craziest thing to watch. Now, I wouldn't have believed that was possible. And yet you just wholeheartedly went in that. And you're right. Out of that, there's a lot of problem solving. There's a lot of innovating that happens for you when you dive into things like that. All of a sudden, your whole offering all the way around is innovated. It's completely transformed.
My whole offering, you said my sister was calling because I turned off Do Not Disturb.
Yes,
Did you say your whole offering?
Your whole business, your whole offering, the way you make money,
that's
the way...
very, very interesting. I mean, because
it is.
Beautiful Lydia, who wrote the foreword of my book, she's like, wow, I watched you reinvent yourself. And I'm like, have I? But yeah, and as someone who's so scared of change and who resists it,
Yeah.
If you would have said to me last spring, you're going to have to reinvent yourself, I would have been like, I can't, and I might die. And yet I did it, and I didn't die.
No, and it's even, I'm just going to tell you, you're not going to be able to hold back the rising of your own self. I see it with my own eyes. I'm bearing witness to it. You're just not going to be able to slow that. The train's out of,
from your lips to God's ears, Sister Salella.
Yes, the train is out of the station. Well, my friend, I thank you so much.
Your course. I didn't know about this. I want to take your course. I don't know how I didn't know about it. I must not be on your mailing
I just announced it. I just announced it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Yes. No, I just announced it yesterday. So yeah, so it's going to be a 5-day webinar.
Are we broken up?
You're going to come. You're going to come. I really thank you. I really thank you for doing this with me.
Yeah. It was it was an honor, and it really, it was a blessing because it really got me to think about that. And I think it's a really important thing to think about because perspective is so important.
It is. Perspective is everything, isn't it?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's framing. It's like, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's a bad thing. Oh, look at that. Like you've walked through the door of possibilities, and you continue to show us how to find that door for ourselves. So I'm grateful for you. You make me say, I love you. You don't like love ya. I love you.
I love you.
I love you. I really
love you so much.
I am so inspired by you.
And I can't wait for the paperback. When does it come out? February what?
February 16th. Oh, we'll be doing something.
I know.
Because you're my forward.
I just wanted to I wanted you to say it again for the people.
Yes,
it was a trick. Nice. It was a trick.
It was a promo trick.
Yeah. Come on, trick. You're a producer. You know.
I know.
All right, I love you.
I love you too. I'll talk to you soon. Oh my God. How about that, Jen Pastiloff? She is a rare jewel. I love her so much. I once said when we first met, I don't usually I love you when I first meet people, but she is. So at the end of our boozy dinner, she's like, I love you. And I go, yeah, I love you. And I think it sounded a little bit like love ya. Oh my Lord. She had her way with me. She's like, look at me, say the words. I love you. And I was like, okay. And what she didn't talk about in that story is Jeff Goldblum was sitting over there, and I begged her, please, I beg you, don't go and disturb him and give him a copy of your book. And she goes, I'm gonna. And so I went and hid around the corner while she made great friends with Jeff Goldblum and his wife. So that's a good lesson for me. Listen, it is such a joy to spend this time with you talking about really the only kinds of things I want to talk about, which is how we can look at disappointment and betrayal and heartbreak and loss in our lives and reframe it and end, kind of collapse the sorrow so we can watch the sun come up today. And I have to say this about Jen. We're not used to people being so authentic with their experience. What she's saying is what we're all feeling. She's only saying what in our heart of hearts, and when no one's listening, what no one knows about us, some of the things that we angst over, our anguish and our sorrow and our worry and our lack of confidence. And that's one of the things why I think is so amazing about her, is that every time she shares, I'm reminded I'm not alone, and it makes me feel like I can stand in my own truth and my own self, and I can bring light to shame and be healed, and be healed, and be healed. So this is the season of healing and transformation. Come join me for a week of transformation in January. And you can just go to sherrysalata.com/transformation, get all signed up, and I'm going to do it with you. I think this is our year. I think the year of light is coming. And I send you love and all good thoughts, and this swirling vortextural energy of light and possibility is coming our way. And all we got to do is be ready for it. Thank you for being here. Hi, Courtney. Thank you, Court. Hey, Dee Dee. My high school friend. I love you too. Authenticity rules. You are right about that. I love you. I love everyone here. Thumbs up, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Natalie, you're darn right. It is our year. My old friend from Chicago. This is the year, but it's like we have to decide. It doesn't just show up wrapped in a bow. It's coming. And we have like 9 more days to really get ready to receive and be ready for that energy shift. That 2021, the energy is going to shift. And so we just need to be ready. So one of my new favorite words is gentle, that I learned on this show. To do this gently and with compassion. Gently call ourselves forward with great tenderness. But tenderly and gently, let's get ready for that energy shift, because it's all there waiting for us. And we just have to rise up and be ready. So I'm ready. You're ready. And I'll see you next time. Big hugs, big love, all light. Until I see you again.